Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The misconception I would try to remove today vis-a-vis the concept of prophethood relates to that incident which took place between the Prophet Joseph and the royal ladies of Egypt. We know that there was a banquet thrown once, and in that particular banquet it is said that the royal ladies had gathered there, and they of course had come there at the invitation of Zuleika, who was of course the wife of a very senior official in the government of Egypt. And it was these ladies who were actually ridiculing her, and they were making fun of her that she had fell in love with one of her slaves or servants, of course referring to Joseph sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in order to pay back in equal coins, it is said that Zuleika actually threw this banquet, and she called these royal ladies, and of course it is narrated during this incident that they were given knives so that they could cut the fruits which were given to them. And it is further surmised from the way this incident is mentioned in the Quran that when the Prophet Joseph was called by Zuleika to come there and to manifest himself and to reveal himself, they were so astounded by his beauty that these royal ladies, instead of cutting the fruits from the knives which were given to them, they started cutting their own palms and hands with those knives. And this is how people interpret this incident. Now, if we study the Quran in the context and the way this incident is referred to later in Surah Yusuf as well, we find that this is a wrong interpretation. What actually occurred there was that these royal ladies of Egypt, they also tried to seduce the Prophet Joseph. And for this, actually, each of them said that if the Prophet Joseph does not come near them, then they will attempt suicide. And for this, they tried to blackmail him by even attempting to cut their hands so that they could sort of make him believe that they are very serious in this threat. So this is how this incident actually should be understood. And this understanding is very clearly mentioned in the Quran if we refer to the later verses of Surah Yusuf, in which this incident is again explained. At one place we know that the Prophet Joseph was of course jailed, and then when the king saw that his own dream was interpreted very nicely by someone in the jail, of course referring to the Prophet Joseph, he sent his person to him and asked him to come to his presence. At that instance, it is said that Joseph sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually told that person who had come to them as the messenger of the king to go back to the king and ask him, Ma balul nisfa allati qatta'na aydiyahunna inna rabbi bikaydihinna alim. And again the words which succeed are qala ma khatbukunna iz rawattunna yusufa an nafsi. So the Prophet Joseph had tell that messenger that he should go back and ask the king that what was the matter of these women who had cut their hands. And again the word kaid is used, which means there was some sinister scheme which was chalked out. And when the king called these ladies to his presence, he asked them, and the words here is which occur here are that as I read earlier, ma khatbukunna iz rawattunna yusufa an nafsi, which means the king questioned these women by saying, what made you attempt to seduce Yusuf, or what made you to attempt to seduce Joseph sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which in other words would mean that actually what happened on that earlier instance was that these women had tried to seduce Joseph by threatening him to kill themselves, and for this they had actually blackmailed him by taking one step ahead, and they had tried to cut their hands just to tell Joseph that they were very serious in this threat. So this is actually what happened. And the word kaid, of course, which means a very sinister scheme, also is mentioned in this verse, which clearly points to the fact that they had chalked out a scheme to seduce Joseph. And of course, the scheme was that they would threat him, and in order to tell him that they were very serious in this threat, they would even cut their hands, and they did so. So this whole incident, which is mentioned in the Quran, must be interpreted in this explanation, which is offered by the Quran itself later on in Surah Yusuf. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات.